Andy, just talk us through that one from your perspective today. It was a great start, but ultimately not to be.
Yeah, I think first of all I have to say congratulations to Plymouth to reach the amount of points they have in a 46-game season is massive credit to them. It's credit to the whole football club, from the owner through Stephen and his staff, to his players and the fans. So massive credit to them. We started the game exactly how we wanted to. We didn't want it to be a party for them and an end of season feel to it, so I was delighted with how we started the game. A fantastic ball and run from James on the side of the pitch to get in behind, and he executed a really good finish. But then we couldn't maintain possession for long enough periods of time. We kept turning the ball over through our own errors, not through anything particularly what they were doing, and we ended up having to spend too long in the first half without the ball. We had probably 2 periods before half time where we managed to manage the ball and manage the game again and pen them back in. So we go in at 2-1 down again through conceding goals, which have been our Achilles heel throughout the season in terms of poor quality of goals. We give opportunities to the opposition through individual errors in a variety of ways. But at half time we were well in the game, and we showed the players that the clips of when we were better on the ball, we could pin them back in and we could find the spaces we spoke about pre-game, either in front of their back five or behind them. But again, we concede a goal from a poor clearance in the second half, where we don't go back in behind them on a clearance. The ball drops to them, and then suddenly 5-10 seconds later the ball's in the back of our net, which changes the complexion of the game. They're 3-1 up, then they can then afford to sit behind the ball and play on the counter-attack, which they did. We had a couple of half opportunities really, where we could have, say, maybe got that second goal to make it 3-2 and to make them a little bit edgy. I didn't know until after the game what the Ipswich score was, but I say it's credit to them. The game has highlighted things we already knew about us individually, about us as a team, and it's things that we have to improve collectively as a football club to be better next season.
Can you go into detail as to what some of those things are that you may have picked out, but stuff you say that you were already aware of?
Listen, we've been speaking for maybe since the summer transfer window about how we progress the football club. You then go through the January one and what happened with that. So now we've got players who are coming to the end of the contracts, some who are in contract. I'm not going to talk about individuals until I've had the chance to speak to them individually and face to face. That process started this morning. It'll continue throughout this afternoon. It'll continue for the next 2 days, and then the club will then put out the retain list, so to speak. And then it's a really big 2 months for the football club to recruit to the level required for League One football. And there's a vast difference from League Two to League One. As you can see, when teams play the same formation, you match them up, and then perhaps it highlights the individual weakness of the player. So if you can't do the basics of the game, you're gonna really struggle.
Just talk us through both the team selection. You made a few changes today. You brought James Plant in as well, who had a great start. I know you've got to keep his feet on the ground to a certain extent, but what a start for him and what a performance from him as well.
Well, first of all, there's been a lot of progress within the academy since I've been at the football club. Nothing to do with me, obviously led by Will and his staff. And the club are now producing good young footballers, good young people. James has been given a few opportunities in the last few games. He's taken them with both hands. He's shown no signs of immaturity, no signs of nerves. He's grasped the control of the ball. He's almost said, give me the ball and let me get on with it. He's shown no nerves, no fear, which is great to see. Young players need a platform to go out and produce what we think they can. And obviously Jack then comes on towards the end of the game and gets a game in the first team. He's played in the Papa John's, but now to go and make his league debut for the football club, I think he's the youngest player. You might say he's not, to represent the football club. So there's no point in the academy producing good young players if they don't get into the first team. So if they're good enough, it's irrelevant of age. You've got to go out and express yourself, and that's certainly what James has done.
I was going to say, you must have a lot of faith in him, because this was a game against a team that was going for the league title to put him in, but his performances and those of Jackson in the youth team as well are a reward for those starts and those appearances.
Yeah, it's obviously been a different setup this week with us playing on a Sunday, but we came back in on Friday with our preparation. We didn't have from last Saturday off. That we came back in on Friday in terms of our match prep, and James was in the team that was going to start the game, and I took him to one side with David Worrell, and I said to Wazza, do you think James deserves to start the game based on his performance as an opportunity? And it's common sense, it's a no-brainer. Why not reward the player? His levels of performance when he's had the opportunity have been really good. So whether he's 17, 18 or 35, if you perform, you get the opportunity, and he's taking it. That's down to him. That's not down to me giving him the opportunity. He then has to go onto the pitch and produce what I think he can do. Is it always going to be as good as it's been for him for the last 3 days? If it is, you won't be along. If it's not, it's down then to the staff to support him.
You mentioned it a little bit earlier about what happens next with retained lists and stuff. Yeah. How big a summer is this for the football club? Appointing a manager, getting that right, recruiting to stay in League One and maybe do better next year. How big is it for the football club?
It is big, obviously. You know, we were that playoff winning team who had a great first half of the season. We still had the momentum, the winning feeling, so to speak. We lost games. We lost a few games heavily, but we were really competitive in the first half of the season. But then maybe we plateaued a bit, and the signs have been there. The signs are obvious to everyone. It is a big summer for a variety of reasons. Recruiting players to play the way that we want to play is vital.
There's a we in there. What about your future? Any clearer on that at all?
I think my future will become clearer as the players' future becomes clear over the next couple of days. So obviously a lot being going off behind the scenes in terms of me and individual players and conversations and recruitment. So that will become clear over the next few days.
Do you want the job?
As I said to you before, I've been a player for a long time. I've been an assistant manager for a long time. I've had a little taste of it. Do I think I'm ready? Do I think I'm prepared for it? Absolutely. Just like James Plant, someone needs to give the opportunity to go and showcase the talents and the qualities you think you've got. There's no guarantee in any appointment for any football club. There's always risk. Let's see what happens.